Hello friends in today's video we will learn star delta starter control wiring. So let's start and understand step by step. First understand which component is required for this control wiring. We need one 2-pole control MCB, 3 contactor. One is main contactor, delta contactor and star contactor. And as we know in star delta starter we need to give interlocking in star contactor and delta contactor. So in star contactor and delta contactor, your contactor should have one NC point. If your contactor have NC point, then no problem. If your contactor have not NC point, then you have to connect add-on block. In our contactor we have NC point, so no problem. In the star contactor and delta contactor we have NC point. It is a NC, it is a NO and it is a coil. Okay. Now we connect one overload relay by which our motor can trip in overcurrent. One stop push button, one start push button NO, and one use EAPL timer. You can use any of the timer. In this timer, in EAPL timer, this point is known as A1 point and it is a A2 point. It is a coil. When we give 220 supply to A1 and A2, our timer operate, and it is a 15 number point which is known as common point. In this timer we have two common point, two NC point and two NO point. It is a 15 number and known as common point. It is a 16 number. So 15 and 16 as known as NC point. 15 and NC, 15 common, 16 NC and 18 is NO. And it is a second common point, 25 number. It is a common, and 25 and 26 is NC. It is a 26 is NC with this point, and it is a NO point. So I hope you understand timer points. Now start control wiring. First we connect control input supply to the control MCB. First connect a phase supply to MCB. Now connect neutral supply in MCB. Now first we completed neutral wiring. After that we will start phase wiring. So where we need to connect a neutral, so it is a first contactor, second and third. We need to connect all three contactor, A1 point neutral connection and timer, because timer operate to 20 supply. So first connect a neutral, this A1 point. So connect a step by step neutral point from main contactor A1. Now connect timer A1. Now connect delta contactor, now star contactor. So we completed our neutral wiring to give all contactor and timer neutral supply. Now we start phase wiring. First we connect a phase to overload relay, because in general case we connect all control supply start with overload relay, because when our motor is heat up or get more current, then our overload relay tripping and our starter is safe. Because of we also are every time we give control supply first to the overload relay because of our motor safety. Then connect NC point, then connect NO input. Okay, now in this point continue supply comes. Now when we press this NO push button, our supply comes and operate main contactor. Okay, when we press this push button, NO push button, our contactor is operate. But how many time? In which when we press NO button, only timer operate this time. When we stop pressing, then contactor is stop. So for operating permanently, we need to give holding supply to the contactor. So let's understand how to give holding supply to the contactor. First we connect, in general case we give holding to the first, connect one looping from contactor A1 point. We connect contactor A1 point and it is a NO point. Okay, coil supply connect to the contactor NO point for holding first. Now we need to connect one point holding, need to give this NO point. So where we can give, so we can connect NC output or NO input. We connect one looping here and give main contactor NO point. How it's work, let's understand. When we press NO push button, our contactor is operate. Supply comes is this NO point. Now we connect holding supply to this NO point. When contactor operate, this direct supply comes in this NO point and our contactor supply comes this NO point and our contactor operate permanently. So it is just a holding supply give to the main contactor. It is also known as DOL starter. Okay. Now let's understand how to implement a star delta starter from DOL starter. So for making a star delta starter, we first operate timer. So for operating timer, we connect one looping from main contactor and give to the timer. Now let's understand how it works. When we press NO push button, our contactor operate as well as our timer operate. Okay. Now we connect one looping and give to the common point. Okay. Common point and coil operate at the same time. Now let's understand timer basic working. If we set 10 seconds in this timer, then common supply comes in this NC point. If we set 10 seconds, then 10 second common supply come in this NC point, and after 10 second completing, supply comes in this NO point. Is timer basic working. Now understand star delta starter working. When we press push button, our main contactor and star contactor operate. When we set, if we set 10 seconds, so 10 second our star contactor operate, and after 10 second star contactor stop and delta contactor operate. It is a basic working of star delta starter. So first if we set 10 seconds, then common supply comes in NC point. So connect a NC terminal and operate star contactor. Okay, but for interlocking we give this supply to the delta contactor NC for interlocking and give to the main contactor coil. Okay, for 10 second common supply come in this NC point and operate star contactor for interlocking delta contactor. Okay, now after 10 second completing, our NC supply comes in this NO point, and after that in the star delta starter, after completing time, our delta contactor should operate. Okay, so we connect one looping in this NO point and operate delta contactor, but before this we give interlocking and use star contactor NC point. Okay, so first give star contactor NC point and connect one looping here NC contactor and give to the delta contactor. Okay, how its starter works, let's understand. When we press NO push button, our main contactor operate, timer operate as well as star contactor operate. Okay, now if we set 10 second, then after 10 second completing, the star contactor stop and delta contactor operate. It is a basic working of star delta starter. So hope you understand this concept, and if you have any doubt, please ask in comments box, and if you like this video, please press like button. For today's enough, meet in next video. Thanks for watching.